Hey everybody, this is Melissa. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you haven't done so already, I would really appreciate it if you take just a quick moment and click on the subscribe button, and that way you'll be the first to know when I upload a new tutorial. I'm really excited you're all here, so let's go ahead and get started. So today I'm going to show you how to use the forecast sheet in Excel. And what this allows us to do is take, say, sales data and predict what it might look like into the future based on data from the past. So what I have here is I have data that is sales by month going back to January of 2019, and then starting in January of 2021 to December of 2021, it's blank. So what I want Excel to do is to take this data from 2019 and 2020 and predict what my sales are going to be through 2021. So how we're going to do that is we're going to highlight our month sales and the data that we want to include in the forecasting, which is the data that we have entered. So from our data tab, we want to go over to forecast sheet, and this box pops up. So as you see, it took data from January 2019 and it plugged the numbers in, and it gave us a forecast, and I'll explain what that means here in just a second. You could do a column chart, but I think it's more confusing than a line chart, so I tend to stick to the line charts when I'm doing any kind of forecasting. So what we have here is we have forecast sales, which is this line here. Then we have our lower confidence bound, which is this line here. And we have our upper confidence bound, which is this line here. Now let me explain what that all means. If we go to options here, we get more options besides just forecast end. Our forecast end date, we're going to change because if you remember, we want to forecast all the way through December of 2021. So we're going to make this 12/1 of 2021. And as you can see, it extends it out. The reason I'm not using 12/31 of 2021 is because we're doing this by month. So if we use 12/1, it'll capture that entire month. Our forecast start date, we want to use the last date within our data set. So in this case, it is 12/1 of 2020 because that is the last data set that we have here. And what that will do is it will then go back, as you see, and pull everything from the beginning to that date. Our confidence interval is set at 95%, and that's what it defaults to. I generally leave this at 95% because what this does between the lower bound and the upper bound, and then the forecast, 95% of our sales it predicts will fall into this area, which is what, about 5,300 to about maybe 3,300. So that's what this confidence interval is, the prediction of where our sales will fall over the next year. Our seasonality, I let it detect it automatically. There may be some times that it can't and you may have to set it. But what this means is if you're doing, like we are, a yearly forecast, it's going to detect it based on seeing January through December, January through December. And it's going to automatically set this to 12 because we're doing it each month for the year. Our include forecast statistics, unless you're going to be doing some heavy duty statistical analysis, you don't need to check this. It's going to show you smoothing coefficients like alpha, beta, gamma. It's going to show you error matrix like MASE, RMSE, and things like that. And that's not anything with regular forecasting you're going to be doing. So I would recommend just leaving that unchecked. Our timeline range is actually what we have highlighted in column A. Our values range is what we highlighted in column B. Now fill missing points using. So Excel defaults to interpolation. And what that does is it tells it how to handle missing points. So let's just say we've got January through December of 2019, but we don't have January of 2020, and we skip over to February of 2020. So what interpolation tells Excel to do is say January's missing, and we go from December of 2019 to February of 2020. So it's going to tell Excel to do a weighted average for whatever's before it, so say November, December of 2019, and whatever's after it, February, March, or whatever, and it's going to populate that. Now we do have the ability to tell it zeros, and then it won't take those into account at all, but I tend to let it do the interpolation. Now aggregate duplicates using, and I had to say that slow because I cannot say it fast. And what that does is if we have data that has the same date and time, then Excel will average those. So let's say we don't have months. Let's say that we have products here, and let's just say we have fruit, but we have the dates are, you have apples, oranges, and watermelon, and they all have the same date of January 1st. Okay, if we just want to do the sales based on that day, and do a forecast, it's going to average them. So I hope that makes sense for that. So now that we have filled all of this in and we kind of understand what this means, let's click on Create. And I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Okay, so it put our chart over here, and I'm going to move this up just a little. And as you can see, on December 20th, which is where we told it to start our forecast, it does 4,000 straight across the board. So now we have 3 columns. We have forecast sales, lower confidence bounds, and upper confidence bound, which is basically this spelled out. So it shows you in January, it believes your sales are going to be around 4,085. However, they could be between 3,314 and 4,856. That's your 95% confidence interval. February, 4,113, 4,889. Now, if you're going into a meeting, you may just want to take the chart, or you may want to show this. That'll be up to you. But some of the things that we can do is chart style. We can change it. If we want to change that, we can change the color of the trend lines, and we can filter it. Let's just say that we want to pull off the lower and upper confidence level and tell it apply. And then it's just going to show the trend line or the forecast line going up. Let's put that back. Let's say that we want to just show to June of 2021. And then it's going to pull everything down to show just June. Now, let me caution you. The one thing that you cannot do when you're working with a forecast sheet is you cannot go back and change it. I mean, you cannot go back over here, change this, and this automatically update. You will have to recreate it. And trust me, that's normal. Before I did this tutorial, I had to recreate this one twice. So that's completely normal to forget something, but just keep that in mind. It's not real hard to do, but that is one thing that I wish Microsoft would change, is that we could just click a few buttons and update our forecast sheet. But for now, that's not how it works. And that's how you can forecast future data or future sales using Forecast Sheet in Excel. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to like it, subscribe to my channel, and get notified. And I'll be back tomorrow with another tutorial. Thanks so much for watching.